Friends, uh, I'm going to address few of the Q&A of RPA, which is most frequently asked questions in RPA. Okay, and what I will try my best to explain as much as possible. जो भी questions आता है मेरे को मैं वो शेयर करूँगा आपको और I hope ये आपको help करेगा and a lot of things you get to know. So first of all, which certification is easy? For example, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. This is one of the question. Which certification is easy? So I'll say there is no as such like easy certification ever. Okay, all the certification you have available, you actually like it depends on your knowledge on that those certification. So if I have RPA and I'm talking about RPA certification, okay. So there is none of the certification is in general easy. So it depend on the tool you are doing and how much insight or knowledge you have of that particular tool. So, but if you talked about, yeah, you can see ease of learning or learning gap, which kind of tool has less learning gap, I can share that insight. So if you talk about UiPath and you have Blue Prism and you have Automation Anywhere, okay. So these are the three tools. As per my experience, I can share the easiest tool to learn in this category. First is I will say rank is your automation anywhere. Then second is this, and third is this Blue Prism. That's how the ease of learning of this particular tool. Now, easy of certification, I will not say. All the tool when it goes to advance, then it becomes a little bit complex based on scenario based, correct, contextual. So you cannot say that which certification is easy. It's depend on your knowledge and experience based on which you can categorize whether the certification is easy or not. So that would be my answer. So the more you practice, the more you have knowledge of that particular tool, it will become easy for you. So I hope it answers this questions. Okay, moving to the next question. So then, what are the use case of RPA tool in automation testing tool which cannot be achieved by Selenium? See, this is very interesting question. What is the so I it's nothing but if I rephrase this question is RPA. I will say tools as testing tools. How exactly we can consume the RPA tool as testing tool? That's the question. See, first of all, you need to understand what we do in RPA and what we do in testing tools. What exactly we do? That's the question here. What we do in RPA, what we do in a testing tool. Okay. So in RPA, what we do, we automate the processes. We automate the processes. I will highlight. We automate the it is process again is a broader. If I narrow it down, it's like we automate the reading task, we automate the writing task, we automate the reading task, we automate the writing task, we automate the navigation, we automate the let's say logical aspect, logical or reasoning, you can say. We automate the navigation, logical reasoning. We little bit also automate the cognitive capability. We also cognitive capability, and little bit we can literally integrate with, I will say, analytics. We can integrate with ML plus I will say ML and AI. We can integrate it. Okay, this activity we can do with RPA tool. Testing tool, what is the objective? The objective of these all activities to process automate. Remember this, PA, process automate. Whatever processes you have, its task is to automate with these actions. What is the objective of a testing tool? The objective of a testing tool is nothing but, uh, testing again, the objective of testing tool is again various. So if I narrow it down, it's nothing but it 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 tests the logic, it tests the navigation, it tests the capacity, it tests the uh, navigation, logic, capacity, flow, it tests the scenario. Scenario is mostly, this is very very critical, okay, very very critical. It tests the, okay, it tests the, am I covering all of them? Yes. So mostly, go with this. These are the things in general we test in testing tool with testing tool. You can see how many things are matching, correct? Logical, I can create logical. Navigation, I can create navigation. Capacity is nothing, checking whether it supports. Uh, so imagine I have 100 transaction to process. Is it able to process this 100 transaction, or if I have 1,000 transaction tomorrow, will it be able to process? So that kind of testing we say capacity. It's completely beyond, and we can do that with automation also white rust. So it's nothing but regression. So I'm running it and I'm checking whether it can handle that much of information, data, transactions or not, which I can also automate. It's nothing but a process step automation, correct? Then the next point is flows. Flows means what? Like the logic. Though it start here, if it starts here, if this action happen, then it will go to this action. If this action happen, then there is a condition, and whether this condition is getting successful or condition is getting failed. So if it is yes goes here, no goes here. So this is called flow. It checks that is it covering and capturing all the scenario which I supposed to handle. So that's how in general we can cross check it. We can cross check it. So this entire flow it cross check, and we need to check whether it is actually covering all this scenario in this flow or not. Is it covering all this scenario in the flow or not? If it is not covering all this scenario in the flow, then there is a challenge, there is a difficulty. Okay, now this is done, scenario part. Another part, if I talk about, so yeah, flow is done, scenario is done. I hope, yeah, this is really really interesting, correct? Very very interesting. And that's how we can literally capture the information. Now what is the differences I have observed and noticed so far? The differences are nothing but, you can see literally I can do all the activity. Now the difference is this is a low code solution. You need to observe. So if here I can highlight now the characteristics of the tools. So and I will say testing, whatever tool I'm consuming right now. Let's say I'm saying it testing. Okay, so it's nothing but testing tool. If I say testing characteristics, I'm highlighting, so I can delete it also. Let me cover all the RPA characteristics, then I will go for this. Okay, first of all, RPA characteristics is nothing but low code. So in RPA you no need to code much. Okay, it is for business people. Have it covers a process to automate. It covers the process to automate. And then it is like invasive. It called invasiveness. What is invasiveness? It can be integrated with any other application. Okay, so I can say integration capability. integration capability. If I go further, what RPA can do, it also, trigger, correct? We can trigger task. We can trigger task or schedule task. We can schedule task. Now, these are the typical characteristics of RPA. Now, what are the typical characteristics of testing tool? Let's observe that, okay? What are the typical characteristics of testing tool? So I'm keeping it here only. In testing tool also, Selenium is not low code, okay? You need to code it generally. You need to code it. So this is not matching. So I will say this characteristics is not matching. Business processes, it is also not matching. It actually does business process, but navigation, website testing, it can be anything. It's not only around of business. Could be anything. So this is also not exactly true. Process to automate, we also automate the process, but testing is not objective to automate. It's to test whether that functionality is working or not. So this characteristics also not matching with that. This characteristics also not matching with that. Integration capability, yes, testing also required that. So this is there. Trigger and schedule, it is also there. Now the major difference between these two is RPA and testing tool is created for testing purpose with the help of customized code, with the help of customized, uh, I will say not customized loading, scripting, integration, you can do it. The biggest like differences is this is low code. You can literally create a solution very fast with RP tool, whereas in testing tool, it takes time to develop that particular solution. It takes time to develop that particular solution. That's the core. More or less, in both the approaches, I can actually configure it because these are nothing but tool. Both the way it is tool. Both the way I can configure this scenario. I can do the test automation with RP tool also, but the speed I will not be able to achieve with automation tools. Okay, if we, and that I can achieve very quickly with RPA tool. The speed of developing that particular script. Number one. Number two is that statistics it's generate. RPA tool default it generate the statistics. Okay, that is I need to say. Statistics it's generate, and whereas testing tool it does not generate. So you can say statistics or you can say dashboard, doesn't matter. So it generates. So these are the core differences if you're thinking. That's why RP is not exactly built for testing. It built for beyond certain work to do faster with less traction. Okay, speed of deployment, development. That's the objective of RPA. Whereas testing tool is it takes time. It is also enhancing. So there is a tool called Tosca that is also low code solution. You can cross check it. Okay, and there is a tool called Tosca. You can cross check. So this particular tool is again, test automation tool. Test automation tool. Very, very powerful and again low code solution. It is matching all these criteria. Tosca is matching all these criteria. So these kind of tools in future will, increase the scope of test automation. But it is different. If you ask today, it is different. It's not the same. I hope it answers your question.